I am destined for greatness. Failure is only part of the journey to greatness. I am destined for greatness. Failure is only part of the journey to greatness. I am destined for greatness. Failure is only part of the journey to greatness. Did that give you chills? Are you pumped? Are you excited? I threw that gem in episode 17, #failure. Listen to it if you want to find it, but hence probably toward the end. It's so true. We all want to be great. We want to be amazing. We want to be powerful. We want to feel empowered. We want to feel like we've achieved something. We've gotten over the hump, the hill, the mountain. We've gone to the other side, and let me tell you, it's beautiful. We all want to be great. I want to be great. You want to be great. Everyone around you wants to be great. But here's the thing. We sometimes don't realize what is required to be great. Normally, I'll say something very witty and then cue the boom, then my intro, and then give you all the nuggets. You all know how I like to do it. I like to switch things up. I am about to give you the nugget right now. So after this, if that's all you need to hear to keep it moving forward, by all means do it. You know how we do it on I Digress. Grit. We need to have grit. Greatness requires internal transformation. You know, they tell you got to have grit. Greatness requires internal transformation. Transformation is the byproduct of survival instincts. Survival instincts are activated through great resistance and obstacles. Hello, we survived 2020. Hello, we're in 2021. We are navigating through a great season of resistance and challenges. But through that, we'll activate our survival instincts. And from that, we will transform and achieve greatness. That's if we make internal transformation. Many people have a problem with change. Why? Because it's going beyond what they're comfortable with. If you're trying to start a business, if you're trying to grow a brand, if you're trying to be a better human being, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to change. How does one change? Internal transformation. What does greatness require? Internal transformation. And you only get that through what? Change. Are you hearing me? Are you following me? So for all of you who are resistant to change, whether you want to or not, whether it's by your choice or not, life is going to force you literally to change direction, change perspective, change something. So you might as well get your ducks in a row, get your mindset on straight, and know how you're going to adjust accordingly. Adapt. Always do all possible things, but that's not the acronym for this episode. The acronym is GRIT. Greatness requires internal transformation. Cue my hype music. Let's go.
What's up, digital world? You're listening to the I Digress audio experience with Troy Sandidge. Social media, marketing, storytelling, business, culture, and more. Coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
I was looking up the definition of greatness. And there's a million upon millions of definitions. You have, sports references, leadership references, top people all over the world, different industries, all that fun stuff. But I thought it was very interesting looking at HBR, Harvard Business Review, and they did a quick survey. I think they asked over 7,000 executives to define greatness in business. As I was looking through the article, here's some things that stood out to me. Ability to set a strategic vision. Ability to be an innovator or pioneer. Impact on the way an industry has evolved or functions. Impact on society. Financial performance. And the last one was development of others. I thought it was interesting that those were the bullets from 7,000 executives that said that's what greatness is defined as. So you mean to tell me if I just can create a strategic vision, that's being great? I do agree with having an impact on society. I understand why they would say financial performance, because you want to be competitive, have a competitive edge. I do get to some degree the impact on way an industry has evolved or functions. I can agree with ability to be an innovator or pioneer. But the one that stood out most to me, development of others. There's always that line that says, basically, if you want to be the best and demonstrate your knowledge of something, teach someone else your knowledge. And you'll learn more about how little knowledge that you know and how much more you have room to grow to teach someone better. Development of others. That's something that transcends a lot of things. We really need to develop one another. We need to develop ourselves. How do we do that? How do we develop others? How do we develop ourselves? It's through an exchange of knowledge, an exchange of wisdom, an exchange of truth, an exchange of honesty, an exchange of vulnerability, an exchange of energy. We need to exchange energy. And people have different auras and different levels of energy that when you get into certain rooms and certain conversations, listen to certain things, watch certain things, embrace certain things, just being in the room, sometimes that room can give you the boost that you need, the inspiration, that spark, without a word being said, a transfer of energy. Too many people, when they get somewhere in life, they kind of want to hoard it. And we shouldn't be hoarding. We should be helping. We should be empowering. We should be demonstrating what we did. Hey, I want you to take it and run with it and go farther than I've gone. To me, that's what greatness is resounded in. Giving back and developing others. I think of a relay race. The greatness of that team is everyone's working together to keep that baton going. And each person is running that leg as hard as they can and trusting the other is either going to make up time that they lost or carry on and push forward even the more. But I know you're not trying to hear all these definitions about external stuff, what Harvard Business Review is saying, and my analogies of track and everything else. Let's get to the nitty gritty. To be great, to be greater, to be the greatest, it requires what? I know you're going to say it. Internal transformation. To have a transformation, many times it requires you to be put in a situation where you are forced to change. I will not get on this mic and tell you that me going through what I've gone through was easy or pleasant or desirable in any way, shape, or form. If the big guy upstairs revealed to me that, hey, where you want to get to, the road is going to be paved with this, you will not understand. You will not know why. But if you want to get there, this is the only way. I don't know if I would have chosen to do it on my own free will. I'm going to be honest. The pain was awful. And one thing I've echoed before, and I want to echo again. I remember sharing this story for the first time in a very intimate setting, a very, very intimate setting, because at the time I'm still somewhat a private person and I don't like to divulge too much of a certain topic of my life too heavily that could be misconstrued or be taken out of context. But when I revealed about the situation with the surgeries and what I had to endure, and I mean, I went in a little bit more in depth than what I normally do on a regular basis. And someone had told me, wow, Troy, you are so strong. You are so very strong. And I told them, I understand that's the common thing people want to say when they get vulnerable, that we immediately, to try to like make ourselves feel comfortable like we did something, we tell them, wow, you're strong. But I premise, I had two options. I either didn't go through this and could face a different alternative of a life standard or worse, or I get my mind, my heart, my soul, my spirit around this decision and just endure. It wasn't that I was so strong. It was the fact that I had no other choice. For my survival, that is what I had to do. And sometimes I don't correlate that with me being strong. That's just me saying, well, I have no choice. I have to do this. Now, sure, I get what you're saying, but Troy, it takes willpower. Look, if someone told you, you have to do this, you have to walk across this bridge to live because this place is on fire. I don't know too many folk who's just going to stand there and just be like, oh, no, I'm good. No, they're going to cross that bridge. Does that make them strong in doing that? I don't know. We look back and we bestowed this high level of praise and other things on people when they internally are just trying to survive. I think strength comes after. Yes, I endured this thing. But what am I doing after? Because there's many people who have endured something and it stopped their growth. It shut them down completely, and you don't hear from them anymore. You don't see them anymore. They are nowhere to be found. And you have the people who, after they've endured something, then they moved on and did whatever they could. Again, adapting, always do all possible things. They did all that they could after the fact. Now, I'm a work in progress, and I'm working on accepting compliments, so I wanted to make that be known. But I think in the moment, don't call me strong. After, and me still trying to do something more beyond what maybe people thought I could do with my life, then sure, I will allow you to say that I'm strong. Greatness requires internal transformation. I rarely read posts that I draft ever, like in an audible setting or video setting, typically. But I'm going to read this one verbatim. I know for someone who asked me, do I script? I don't script my podcast episodes. I kind of go at it with just a few bullets of what I want to do, because y'all know I can be all over the place. But I'm going to read this post to you that I shared just the other day. It goes a little something like this. The one word I want to be associated with regarding every client I get the privilege and honor to work with is progress. I want people to think, to hear, to feel, to see this. Troy is going to help me make progress. Now, what I do, I'm a growth marketing strategist. People come to me with their obstacles. They come to me with their goals. They come to me with pain points. I listen, I compute, and I spit out ideas like it's nobody's business. And then we figure out a roadmap and we tie in all these different goals together. The next part of the post that I share under this is that I provide strategies, frameworks, and support that make progress possible for growth in your business and the results you want to achieve and building the life you want with the business you worked so hard to create. I was reflecting when I got to this point. Today was one of those days where it hit me like a bag of bricks that what many said wouldn't work, has no value, isn't worth it, is something wrong with it. It is the very thing that has allowed me to impact a lot of people. And to those people who doubted me, who said I couldn't, who said I had no value, my idea, these niches, these things that I'm trying to do, the way I'm doing my podcast and so many things I'm trying to do was pointless, was worthless, would never work. It's a stupid idea. Thank you. It gave me the chip on the shoulder as well as the endless fuel and motivation I needed to keep chasing this vision of developing a niche for serving others through the very superpower you said was a weakness. Troy, you're all over the place. Troy, you just start spitting out answers. Give time to think. Why waste? If I can give you ideas right now to get you going, why waste? Boom, let's go. Boom, let's go. Why do I need to wait? For what? People want an answer. Give them an answer. 2 + 2 is what? 4. 2 + 2 is what? 4. You want me to wait? 2 + 2 is all right. Let's see here. 2 + 2. Well, 2 is 1 + 1. But let me think about that and get back to you in a few weeks. I've discovered 2 + 2 = 4. Don't hate, because some people can just generate ideas as people are listening, give someone advice, and then from there we can build a plan around it. That's something that troubled me. That's something that bothered me. And I'm still working through that. But now I'm recognizing it's a superpower. I'm recognizing it is of value, and I'm recognizing it can help a lot of people. Each day, I'm just making progress. And this is the part that I love that I wrote. I am a product of grit. Again, greatness requires internal transformation. I have lost more than I made public and struggled with things people couldn't even begin to comprehend. But despite that, I will never let my flame go out, no matter how many people or companies or trolls, etc., try to put it out. I will bounce back and keep my flame going during the hardest hurricanes, because I just have that will to make an impact, and the desire is so strong, I will not be quenched. My flame will continue to burn. I just have so much joy and gratitude in my heart right now. It's simply an incredible feeling to be able to build something, even if I had to do it on my own, or even if I had to do it with less people who I would have loved to have in my corner support me along the way, to see the fruit of the labor through the sacrifice. If y'all remember, progress over perfection. Ask yourself, what can I do today to just make some progress? So what can you do today to make progress today? If you're too stuck in the weeds to answer that question in your business, well, I'm here to tell you I've had a phenomenal track record this year of giving people a jolt of clarity. Hello, hashtag Clover. Hello, hashtag Dart. Hello, hashtag Leads. And I'll be more than willing to give you a little bit of my time. But that's also why I've created this podcast. And here's the thing, when we think about greatness, and I've said this before, celebrate your wins. When I started this podcast, oh my goodness, I couldn't stand episode 1. I just thought that was the worst episode I've ever did. But when I talked to my editors and we're doing these things, they're like, you got to have an episode to go. And then you got to get in this cadence and flow. I didn't know what I was doing. People thought my name for my podcast was dumb, among other things. You're not going to interview people. You're going to keep it under 30 minutes. Are you crazy? That podcast isn't going to be great. And at the time, it's not that I wanted to be great. I didn't have any intention of doing, something to be mega great as a podcaster. I figured what would be a way for me to share content and a new experience to reach more people in a different way, in a different limelight, and see where it takes me. Change, internal transformation. So create the podcast. And, I had someone the other day, they know who they are. And they told me, Troy, I went back and I heard episode 1, you found Troy. Did you really spit that fire the way you did off the cuff? And, for those who don't know, when I do an episode, I don't listen. I just now recently started listening to my own podcast episodes. I know that sounds crazy, but when you're an editor and you're creating it and you're chopping it, you're not listening to listen to enjoy. You're listening to package and produce to distribute. And so I've gone a long time without listening to any episodes, none whatsoever. So when people reference me sometimes, some things that I say in some of my episodes, I'll be like, what? I did? I was? Really? It throws my mind. It makes me like, oh, wow, that's so cool. And another thing I want to bring out really quick, because the time is ticking. You are great. And sometimes to somebody, you are the greatest in someone's eyes. Many times we don't see the greatness in ourselves because we're so hard on ourselves when we need to forgive ourselves. Oh my goodness, I didn't hit $1 million this month, but you did hit $800,071.13. You did pretty good, bro. You did pretty good, sis. Breathe. Celebrate what you did accomplish. You see, I'm all for being forward thinking and trying to push to the next level, but sometimes you got to stop and look back at how far you can and be like, wow, go back down memory lane. Look at Facebook posts from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or tweets from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and just see where your mindset was back then. Just see what you thought was impossible back then. See the people who doubted you. See the people who thought your idea was stupid. And now look back where you are now. It's not about a brag fest like, look at me, look at me. No, it's not about that. But sometimes you really got to look and see the progression of your growth and celebrate your greatness. I think about it this way. There's a line from, I can't think of the guy's name, but you hear him all the time in a lot of motivational YouTube videos. If you want to be successful, you got to want it as badly as you want to breathe. I think back to many of the painful nights I've had after my surgeries and during that whole period of time, asking why. And this is more of an internal outcry of why me, why now, why this. The thing is, we only think about that in the negative. We only tend to do that when something goes wrong, horribly, horribly wrong. We don't typically do that when things are going right. And so I challenge you that when something goes right, I want you to then ask yourself, why me? Because the same correlation of feeling applies in both scenarios. Why me? But it could be worse. Why me? Because it could be more. And at the end of the day, there's always someone doing more than you with less. There's always someone carrying more weight, dealing with more problems than you. So no matter where you fall, at your highest high or your lowest low, you are still great from the sense that you're in a greater position to get out of that hole or to continue on to greater things than someone else. And this isn't an eye test and comparison of black and blue and white and yellow and 1 and 2s and 0s and 1s. No, this is simply a reflection that if you want to be great, you have to change. If you want to be great, you have to really unlearn some things. And who you are today is old tomorrow. Who you were yesterday is not the same you are currently right now. One thing I have noticed, and I heard some people tell me this, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know if you all noticed, but it feels like since this pandemic started, we've reduced 7 days a week to 3. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's all blurred. Half the time, I don't even know what day it is until my calendar tells me. Where are you going with this? That's been the change. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That's really how I've been seeing the world recently. What did I not accomplish yesterday? Okay, then I move that on to today. Can I achieve this today? If so, make every stride possible to achieve it today, because I can't afford to have it go to tomorrow because I have other things I have planned for tomorrow to continue on down the cycle. Now, if I look at today, I don't got the magic. I'm not going to hold myself to this high level of like, I need to get this done. And you're sitting for hours and hours and hours trying to figure this out. Move it to tomorrow and do something else. But you have to choose your time wisely. Many times we can't let go of certain things. And many times we just can't activate certain things. We have to think like water, be nimble, be fluid, adjust according to what's going on for the day. Have forgiveness for yourself. I want to be great, Troy. I want to be great. Transform yourself. Now, we think transformation is a massive thing. 1 degree every day. 1 degree every day. You have two options. Do nothing at all or make some small, consistent efforts. Option 1, do something. Option 2, do nothing and complain. Only option 2 guarantees that your situation will never get better. Taking action doesn't magically mean that your life will get better. Taking action doesn't mean that you won't succumb to setbacks, failures, redirection, and disappointments. But taking action will always be a better outcome than the alternative. Then there's option number 2, which always has the same guarantee. Nothing will change. Nothing will get better. You will never be happy. So which option will you pick? This is the post that I saw from Scott D. Clary. I could be saying his name wrong. I apologize. On LinkedIn. I love his information. He has an amazing podcast as well. And this post just resonated with me. You have two options. Option 1, option 2. And the thing is, there's a graphic. He wrote something down in a notepad. And he says this, in parentheses, 1.00 to 365 equals 1. 1.01 in parentheses to the 365 equals 37.7. 0.01%. So 1% difference, 1% more of effort, just a small degree more of effort every single day leads to actual results that are tangible, that can be seen, that can be heard. So don't tell me you, after listening to this podcast, don't have it in you to do 1 degree, 1% change, difference, move. Troy, I need to lose some weight. Drink 1 more bottle of water a day. Maybe do the low-fat milk this time in your coffee. There's all these different things that adds up that over a period of time, it'll grow. What do they tell you? Financial literacy and financial wellness to be successful in investments and things like that. Don't focus on the day-to-day because it's staggering too high and too low, and you're going to lose your mind and pull out your money. But if you look at the compound interest of the growth over the period of time, oh my goodness, we're in the green. Oh my goodness, we're skyrocketing. Oh my goodness, we made some changes and it made big dividends. And here we are on the other side of it, living our best life. Wow. 1%. 1%. I have a 1% board in my home office that I look at every day before I get started. It says, get 1% better every day. I'm going to repeat it. Get 1% better every day. 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 If you need to clip that part and repeat it for yourself every morning, do it. Get 1% better every day. Get 1% better every day. I want you to stick that in your brain, resonate with it, sit with it, believe it, act on it, and do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And watch. You get 1% better every day. Pretty soon, you're going to be in 85%. You're going to be at 95%. You may even hit 100% from time to time. 1% better every day is all I'm asking for you to be your greatest self ever. 1%. If you can't give me, no, I'm not even going to claim that on you. You can give me 1%. So that means you can give yourself even more. 2, 5, 10%. I'm not asking you to change your whole life. I'm just saying, you know, deep down inside of you, a goal that you want to achieve this year. And that means that requires for you to make one change after this episode is over. And you do it every single day, over and over and over again. And eventually, it's going to pay some dividends. You see, that's the problem. We're so short-term great. I want to be great, instant great. Like you're making oatmeal, instant oatmeal. I want to be instant great. There's no such thing as instant great. There's no such thing as instant great. There's no such thing as instant great. If you saw somebody who was a nobody yesterday and poof to be somebody great today, that span of time is just your awareness of their greatness or it was a coming out party of how amazing they are. But I guarantee you the greatness that you saw, that you're like, they just showed up one day, was built upon years and years and years of shooting their shot, getting their chance, developing their craft, building it out, getting down to a science where it's just, you don't have to even think about it. Just how you breathe in and out. You are just that great in what you do. I don't think about breathing until you start thinking about breathing. Then you forget about breathing, but I digress. You don't think about breathing. You just breathe and you keep it moving. Be great and keep it moving. Your greatness will be revealed to whoever it needs to be revealed. You are the greatest person on the planet to somebody. Somebody sees you as powerful. And you yourself may feel like the most vulnerable, the weakest person ever. Let me ask you something. Again, I don't have kids yet, but I empathize and I hope to have some one day. But I think about how my father, and to my father as his son, to me, this is my opinion. I know everyone else has their own opinions. He's great. He's the GOAT. He is the GOAT. Also, I know he listens to this podcast, so hey, Dad, love you. He is the GOAT. He is the greatest to me. I've known him my entire life. He's been there. We've been through a lot. I talk to him every day. He is the GOAT. Now, he may never claim he's the GOAT, and a lot of people may not know who he is, but to me, he is the GOAT. So if you have kids, they probably see you as the greatest. Maybe your partner, they see you as the greatest, despite our imperfections, because we as humans are perfectly imperfect. But that makes us perfect because we are human. And if someone can see the potentiality of who you are, but also who you can be, let them acknowledge you. Let them embrace you. Let them empower you to sow the seed and achieve what you are meant to be. If it's meant to be, it will be. We all just trying to be great. We are trying to figure this stuff out every single day. I just want to be great, Troy. Listener, I want to be great too, but we have to make some modifications. Go get yours and be great. Like Tiger would say, from Frosted Flakes. Great.
And that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Digress. What was your takeaway? Care to share your thoughts and tag Troy on social media? You can find him on all platforms at Find Troy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review or comment for this episode from wherever you're listening. Looking for a marketing strategist to build the structure, strategies, and systems you need to get the success you want and the ROI you desire in your business? Book a discovery call to talk with Troy at findtroy.com. And as Troy's philosophy goes, imagination is the engine, content is the fuel, social media is the highway, marketing is the roadmap, sales is the destination, culture is the GPS. Thanks for listening.